The year is 1066, a year etched into the tapestry of English history, a year of bloodshed and shifting tides. 3 kings clashed for the crown of England, their armies poised like wolves upon the fields of battle. But how did it come to this? Why would armies cross the sea to rend asunder an ancient kingdom? The answer lies in the ambition of one man, William the Conqueror. This is a tale of power and promises, bloodlines and betrayals, a tale that would shape the very destiny of England. To grasp the fiery core of William's desire for England, we must understand the man himself. William, Duke of Normandy, was no mere nobleman. Born a bastard, he clawed his way to power, his childhood a crucible of rebellion and relentless struggle. This forged in him a cunning mind and an iron will. Normandy, under his rule, became a force to be reckoned with, organized, disciplined, and hungry for expansion. His ambitions could not be contained within its borders. Across the choppy waters of the Channel lay England, a kingdom rich in lands and legacy. Its king, Edward the Confessor, was a pious man, his reign marked by a deep connection to his Norman relatives. Years earlier, caught in the complex web of alliances and kinship, a promise is said to have been made, Edward pledging the English throne to his cousin William. A promise that held the weight of destiny, yet promises made in times of peace can be shattered by the winds of war. Harold Godwinson was a force unto himself, the most powerful of the English earls, a cunning strategist with the might of England's armies at his back. England's vulnerability was not lost on others. Far to the north, where rugged fjords cut into the Scandinavian landscape, another ambitious ruler watched and waited. Harald Hardrada, the legendary Viking king of Norway, was a warrior of unparalleled ferocity. Having forged his own kingdom through blood and conquest, he saw the turmoil in England as a chance to expand his own dominion. Driven by a warrior's greed and a thirst for power that rivaled even William's, Hardrada envisioned a vast Norse empire, stretching across the frozen north and encompassing the fertile lands of England. England, once stable, was now a kingdom ripe for conquest. For William to seize the throne was more than just expanding his power. It was a chance to etch his name into history, to leave behind a legacy that defied his humble origins. Yet the path to the crown would be paved in blood, for others yearned for the same prize, turning England into a battleground where ambition and destiny would violently collide. The year is 1066, a year that would reshape the destiny of a nation. Edward the Confessor, the childless king of England, drew his last breath, and with it, the fragile peace shattered. In a desperate bid for power, Harold Godwinson, the mightiest of the English earls, seized the crown, betraying the promise whispered years before. William's fury was a tempest unleashed, the oath broken, his rightful claim denied. Yet William was no mere warlord driven by blind rage. He was a strategist, a cunning mind forged in the fires of his own relentless rise to power. Where others saw an obstacle, William saw opportunity. He rallied his forces, masterfully framing his invasion not merely as an act of vengeance, but as a righteous crusade. With the Pope's blessing secured, he painted his cause with the colors of divine justice. No longer was he merely William the Bastard, but a champion of God's will, destined to cleanse England of a usurper king. William's gamble was audacious. To transport an army across the unpredictable English Channel was a feat fraught with peril. Yet, he meticulously planned each step, constructing a vast fleet and assembling a fearsome force drawn from the chivalry of Normandy and beyond. When the winds finally turned in his favor, they set sail, carrying the destiny of England across the choppy waves of the Channel. Yet, William's genius lay not just in force, but patience. Upon landing, he wasted no time, immediately establishing a fortified beachhead, a base from which to strike. He knew his chance would come, for Harold's forces were still weary from their recent victory at Stamford Bridge, where they had crushed a Viking invasion mere days before. Brutal but effective, William ravaged the surrounding lands. This served a dual purpose, denying the English supplies and goading Harold into a reckless attack on William's own chosen ground. His aim was simple: provoke Harold, weakened from a grueling victory against the Viking invaders in the north, into a rash attack on William's terms. The stage was set for a clash that would forever alter the course of history. On the windswept slopes of Hastings in October 1066, destiny hung heavy in the air. The English shield wall, bristling with axes and spears, stood firm against the Norman onslaught. Wave after wave of William's cavalry crashed against this unyielding defense, Norman arrows biting against the English ranks. The battle raged for hours, a brutal stalemate where ambition and desperation collided with relentless fury. Yet in the cruel lottery of battle, a single moment can change everything. Harold Godwinson, the heart of English resistance, was struck down, legend tells us, by an arrow loosed into the sky. Chaos ripped through the English ranks. The once impregnable shield wall faltered and then crumbled in the face of the relentless Norman assault. William, bloodied but unbowed, stood victorious amidst a field strewn with the shattered dreams of kings. The Norman conquest of England had begun, its chilling echo ringing through the centuries that followed. The conquest was brutal, its scars etched deep into the English soul. Yet, William's reign brought about an irreversible transformation. The language of the court became French, castles pierced the English skyline, and a new Norman aristocracy replaced the old Anglo-Saxon elite. William had not just won a kingdom, he had irrevocably altered its very fabric, binding its destiny to that of mainland Europe. England, once insular, would be pulled into the swirling currents of European power struggles. Yet the English spirit was never fully extinguished. From the wreckage of Hastings, rebellion flared. Hereward the Wake, a defiant Saxon, and countless others became symbols of a resistance that would echo through the ages. It was a resistance that would force kings and nobles to reckon with the price of power and plant the seeds for the rights and freedoms that would define the English character. From the bloody field of Hastings bloomed the England we recognize today. The England we know today, a restless nation, a vibrant tapestry woven from threads of conquest and defiance, was born amidst the clash of swords and the struggle for identity. William the Conqueror, driven by ambition, ruthlessness, and a gambler's cunning, left a legacy that continues to provoke fascination and debate. Was he a visionary ushering in an era of strength, or a brutal tyrant forever staining the English crown with crimson? Perhaps, like so much of history, the answer lies somewhere in between. If this tale of conquest, ambition, and the echoes of history has gripped you, please show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel for more explorations of the defining moments that shaped our world.